Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 82 of Beer Not Just the Podcast Adjunct series. This evening, I am joined by the pod's favorite, the most.
Oh, so kind.
What's the word? Most
Frequented.
frequented.
Yes.
I can't. I'm afraid to call you a guest because it's your podcast too. But
fair enough. But I'm usually in the background, so there you go. You know.
As far as the feature, we have Tiffany Alexis in the building.
Hey everyone, thank you for
I was
having
going to
me.
do the clap,
Oh yeah.
but then I'll mess up the other audio.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, we get to do
Guys,
it.
we're talking on a regular mic
Yes.
today. Where if you watch the podcast or look at the podcast normally,
Yes.
listen to the podcast normally, you're hearing it from
The audio
computer.
from the video.
yeah.
Because we don't have speakers, fucking microphones on both sides.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love to get to the point where we can ship out the same microphone to each of the guests, so that they have it. Because we're not doing it in person anymore. This way is way too convenient, yo. I can't go back.
I love this, and I was just thinking, like, I love this I love, yeah, because, like, come on, you get to sit down and chill out on a couch, and you're talking, and everyone gets to be in their respective homes.
Yeah, even
you just
for
can't
guests.
get the B-roll, but that's what the vlogs are for, so that's completely fine. But what I was thinking about, I always think about the kit thing, because whenever we do production for Meta, their production team
Sends out
always sends out, like, they put the camera, everything. So, like, I would love that. I feel like we'd have to be so much further ahead always when we're shooting, like when we're filming, because you have to account for all of that stuff, so you probably always want to be, like,
and then every podcast will cost us money, too.
Every podcast will cost money. That's what sponsor comes in.
It's true. Maybe we can talk about that. Even just before, I'm going to just hint at this episode we have a great sponsor, a brand new sponsor for this episode. First one in a bit. This is sponsored by Manscaped, which I'm looking forward to this ad read because I get to be a bit ridiculous because they don't care. So it's
you get to tell your true experiences,
right? I got
and
some
that's funny.
stories.
I didn't actually mean to segue to the sponsor of today's episode, but there you go.
Well
so
done.
Yeah.
So we're excited for that. We're gonna do a nice little read shortly. We're just gonna shoot the shit for a bit first. I want to comment for those listening, you probably can't see it, but if you're watching, I would say right now we're pretty drippy. For people who don't know what drippy means, you know, drip is your outfit, your clothing, and I just I don't know. I've been getting into clothing. I was saying to you the other day.
Yeah.
Because I've been buying a lot of shit lately with clothing. She's like, the fuck, man, what's going on?
Like, you're crazy.
I'm crazy.
Or, I mean, you're a chronic purchaser? I don't know.
Well,
whatever.
right now, but in my life, typically...
Shopaholic, that's the term.
Shopaholic, it's too for me. I haven't been... You know what? I'm going to tell that story while we crack the beer, because I'm going to sit here just yapping.
Oh, yeah. What are we drinking?
Yeah, let's tell what we're drinking and we'll get back to it. Today, we're starting off with a brand new beer from the Lord Sankiem Baron. This is a Kolsch called Moselle. Ooh, yeah, you see that. 4.5%. These guys are the gods with the crisp. We're going to get the photo. You know the vibes. You're going to tell them about the drip. Am I good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pouring the beer. Great times.
Beautiful.
It's probably about half.
Yeah.
And then... so I tried this. Do I try again? Do it normal? Or
no, I'm good, yeah.
I had this beer for the first time last night or the night before. Really impressed. They did another Kolsch called Kobe's, which was their the first one that they'd done. That's specifically a Kolsch. Really enjoyed it. This is the second one. I think it's a little bit lighter. I don't know the hops. I was trying to find out what the hops were, but they didn't put it on tap. Normally they do, actually. So either way, nice and clear. Nice little grassy nose. Get it in you. Cheers, yo. Oh, crispy, malty.
Nice.
A little dry, grassy, herbal. Touch floral in there. Feels like a little bit of citrus.
I was getting citrus.
Yeah, like a grapefruit, like the bitterness, but not over the top. Super interesting.
No, it's
beer.
a really light bitterness at the back of your tongue.
Yeah.
Just a little. It's nice.
It's great, eh? Thought we'd start light. You know, shout out the homies. I know we're going to be jumping around tangents, so I'm going to come back to drip. But Sankiem Baron are the sponsors of our Instagram live session. I was wondering what to call it. Instagram live series, I guess, called the Chinwag, which goes down every second Tuesday right now at 9 p.m. Typically features Noah Forrest from Beerism, Nathan Lefebvre from BAOS and from Nathan Does Beer, and Chris Paquette from Hops and Bros, and the fifth man is Max from Hops and Bros as well.
Make special guest
Max Monday.
appearances.
Yeah, Max is fucking hilarious. I love that dude. So it's always a pleasure to see his face. So we do that every other Tuesday, and we always drink Sankiem beers. So, Chris does work there, and Jacob is our partner in Link Up. All the Sankiem team work on that. So we're very close with them regardless. So it's nice to sort of all try and drink the same beer. It's been a little tough. Chris just had a kid, which is dope.
Congratulations.
Second child, which is amazing. He's like 30.
Super
He's
cute.
knocked it out. He's smart.
Yeah.
Smart,
Just
man.
pumping them out.
Right? Doing it quick.
Yeah.
So, it's great. We've got a great connection with them, and I enjoy doing that. So if you
It's
haven't
so
tuned
cute.
in...
Yeah, I love the chat. I love the chat you guys have. It's just nice to just kind of like shoot the shit in a nice chill way. And like, yeah, I love the chill way.
Like, the audience is always
so
cool
engaged,
as hell.
yeah, so cool. Yeah,
Ask
yeah.
great questions
Yeah.
and really insightful
Offer great
comments.
opinions, yeah.
Never a dick there. It's always everyone's dope. I don't know why it attracts cool people, but that's why we keep doing it. We've done 14 episodes now, because every second week, and if we cancel, because we've had to, we're trying to organize, these guys are all essentially fathers.
Everyone
parents.
is a father in a...
Oh.
Or, no,
Nate's
sorry.
about to be.
Everyone's a family member.
Yeah.
Everyone has a wife, which I was thinking technically you have a wife?
I have a wife, but I don't have a child.
But yeah.
Max has a dog.
But Nate doesn't have a kid.
No.
I think it's just
No,
it's really
Chris
just the
knows
two
that
people
too.
who have kids who probably have to cancel more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And,
Yeah.
we were doing it at 8 p.m. and then we moved it to 9 because of the kids' bedtime and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
whatever. So that is cool. So check that out at BAOS Podcast on Instagram. We're doing that every second Tuesday. It's a good time, Short, it goes for like an hour. So, I don't know. I like that as the live thing we've kept, being that we stopped doing the lives for this, but we got something to talk about for that in the second half of this pod
Yes.
as well. We're going to bring the lives back for the winter, but for a whole new piece of content that
We'll
we're
get into it in a
introducing.
second.
We'll talk about that after. So back to the drip. So, I don't know, on my other podcast, Bad Habits with C and Notion, check that one out. That drops every Monday, sort of a hip-hop focused podcast, and also features Dan. It's called, but if you're searching for it, it's Bad Habits with C and Notion. Notion is also a part of BAOS. He does all the audio engineering and a lot of the photography as well. Basically, I've just been getting into clothing, because when I moved here, I was doing all right, and I was like, as I sold a property back home, so I came with a bit of cash, I was able to just buy up, and at the time, like, you couldn't get the same products in Australia that you could in North America, and I really liked all the North American brands, so it was really hard for me to get stuff. So whenever I was over here, I'd fucking shop like mad to bring back. So when I moved here, bought a bunch of stuff, didn't go crazy, and then when we moved to Montreal, we were students, and it's a whole long story, but we didn't have a ton of cash.
Yeah.
Understatement. Never been that broke in my life. It was an interesting time.
Yeah.
We got through it. So I wasn't buying clothes then. You weren't buying clothes then, really?
No.
We got a bunch of free stuff because we
I
ran
bought
out
a
of
bunch
it.
of corporate clothing. It's awful
no
for
choice.
that awful. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. All the pencil skirts and the freaking all the annoying
All that
things,
bullshit.
stockings and short heels, just the worst. Sorry, I just can't even imagine.
Wearing that
Anyways,
again, right?
I could never do that ever again. Sorry, it's just
Once you get a
so
taste of,
ridiculous. Well, I just mean once you get a taste of first of all, I don't know how anyone who worked at home, full tangent again, I don't know how anyone who worked at home and got to chill in pajamas is ever going to return back to the clothes. I just don't see how that's going to happen. We've already been working from home since 2015, but it's just even thinking about that time where it's the office people, you really got to dress up, not even when you're in the casual places, but the office side, oh, fuck. It's just rough. Yeah, it's just so annoying.
Shouts to y'all who can deal with it.
Yeah, no one's comfortable.
No one's happy about it. Some people do
Make
like
them
working
let
from
you
the
stay at
office,
home
but,
unless you really want to. Because, geez.
I have seen a bunch of people who look forward to it because I think they're people
Structure.
we're good. More structure, but I think the social side of it.
Oh yeah.
And sort of I can understand. I never really got it before this, but people with kids, if you're going to be around, it's hard to work. You don't get a break. So I think it's pretty exhausting for parents. I always thought, man, whatever, man. You just tell them to sit down and do their work, and they do it. I don't know. I don't know what kids are like. Yeah, they would tell me that is not the case.
Yeah.
So I get it, man. But we're having to wear those clothing.
Yeah, it's just the outfit.
Yeah.
Speaking of drip, so there you go.
Speaking of drip, no, that's a great point.
Yeah.
So we didn't buy any clothes back then, and then when I got into the beer scene, I still didn't buy much stuff. I started to feel guilty. I saw a Facebook status from the other day where I said, from like 2014. Sorry, I saw it like yesterday, from 2014, where I was like, I have been so broke for so long that even the idea of going shopping made me feel insane guilt. Like I couldn't even do it. So I was getting a bunch, obviously, in this beer world as the podcast grew, you get stuff. So I was, and I bought stuff too, of course, but I was exclusively wearing everything. Beer merch.
All beer merch.
T-shirts, hats, sweaters, hoodies, fucking name it. It was basically just beer merch for years.
Yeah.
And then last year, I guess we weren't traveling as much. And when you're not traveling as much, you're not, getting as much stuff. Not that I needed a lot, but I just thought, you know what, I wanted these Adidas like suits and stuff. So the tracksuit, the Run DMC stuff.
Oh, the one that we wanted forever.
Yeah, you and I wanted it for so long. Yeah. And I think I had like a discount code or some bullshit online and started buying a bunch from Adidas. And then I started getting into the Yeezy stuff, which is Kanye West's. I'm not going to talk about this too long because I know you beer people probably don't give that much of a fuck. But I'm just trying to explain
why.
Save
it for the clothing podcast.
Which is, I really also thought about that today.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could do it yet. My focus is very narrow though. So I discovered you get the Yeezys, like the shoes, and I wanted them for years, didn't know how to get them, and I discovered how. So I started getting those, and now got and this year's been getting more. I'm a fan of Nipsey Hussle, who's a rapper who was murdered a few years ago, and he has a clothing line called Marathon. So I've been buying a bunch of their stuff, and just been enjoying getting into it a little bit. But very, I like Yeezy because they make shoes, and then and this is the Yeezy Gap hoodie. I only got this the other day, which is super fire. They didn't release it in Canada, but I managed to get it online. So coolest hoodie I've owned for a while.
Yeah.
So I just got into it. No. I saw Tiff, you put this on the Ivy Park Peloton joint, which is fire. The Adidas joint, the Beyonce collab.
So
both of us, big artist collab supporting.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know what? Instead of the BAOS thing, because it feels like a uniform, coming back to what you were saying. It feels like a uniform.
I didn't really think of it that way.
I put that shirt on. Sometimes it smells because you can't smell me, but I only wash
You're like,
it.
I've worn it.
I need it every
times.
week, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm under these lights, you start to sweat a bit. And
first of all, it just shows that we should probably buy more
of those BAOS t-shirts.
Because in the end, guys, we're not holding stock. It comes from
Spring.com.
Yeah, so it's not like Teespring. So it's not like we have a bunch.
They changed the name to Spring.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, because they sell everything. It's not just t-shirts.
I thought I just completely didn't hear the T part of your word, and I was like, wow, I dealt with it for a second.
Yeah.
I didn't see. Okay, so
link is in the description for the merch if you guys are interested, but we don't have it here. That's why I don't.
That's why he's wearing, because you're like, I wear it once everything. I'm like, that's why he doesn't have multiple shirts here, but that just shows you probably should get multiple.
And I tried to buy, I should get multiple of the same one, but I tried to make, because I can make a custom one. I've got this link that comes with the account. So I tried to make a grey one with the blue logo, because I made a grey sweater, but a hoodie, but I don't like how it came out. Like the logo's way too high.
See,
I put
and
it in the middle, and they fucked it up.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the design, because I did the custom design.
Oh.
If I make a permanent design that goes public, I can also order those.
Yeah.
Like, I pay for everything. They don't give you anything. If I want samples or whatever for modeling it to sell it, they give you a bit of a discount or something, 20% or some shit. So I would try to make a grey one. They stopped. All the t-shirts they had, they stopped making or stocking heather gray, which is like that lighter gray. They only have like the dark gray, which is kind of like as dark as the couch here.
Okay, yeah.
And it looks whack on t-shirt. I'm not a fan of that color at all. So I didn't end up getting more, and I think I just gave up and hadn't really looked at it since. So point being, I kind of like this, and we got this cool light. If you're watching the video, we got like this wicked light for.
I'm digging it.
Just for when we're traveling, when we, if we go to Toronto, we go somewhere. For
we're going
photography.
To PEC in a little bit. That's what made us get it.
Correct.
PEC or PEC, who knows?
Who knows?
Or was it decided?
It's not PEC.
Okay, so we were going to
PEC
we're going to the county.
The county.
And then I have a ton of brand shoots, so I was like, I don't know what the light situation is for Liquid Happiness.
At
so
Liquid X Happiness, go follow it.
Yeah, so I have like 4 brand shoots. So I was like, okay, I can't take the 5. I can't take the risk of the lighting situation. So I was like, can we just get like a small portable light? But it's really cool. Like, I don't even think I don't remember even thinking about the color portion, the color aspect of it. No. I was just thinking about like,
because it was like $100 for this mini one, and normally those mini ones are probably like $20. And when you spend $100, like, it's heavy. You can tell it's like really good quality.
Yeah.
And it's like a USB charging thing.
I love that.
And I was able to charge it. We shot a music video the other night, and we rented this Tesla for it, which was super fire. It's coming soon, and we used this light for it, and it died in the car because it was the first time I didn't want to charge it until it died.
Yeah.
So I just plugged it into the dash. I already had the USB-C there, and it just charged it while I was driving.
There you go.
It's perfect.
Nice.
So it does all these color things, and it's just really good quality. So I was like, I don't know, what if we put that in the background? I think it just looks lit, and then we're dressed nicer, so it feels like this whole different experience of the pod.
It does actually.
I think I'm just over wearing that T-shirt. I like it. It's obviously dope, but
Yeah.
I
Or it's
overdid it. I'm just tired of
You
it.
probably just want various ones, right? It's probably because you're wearing the same one all the time, the exact same one, which is the same as the hat you're wearing.
Correct.
Like that
well, this is the
logo
BAOS hat. I thought
that
I rocked that
logo
at least.
lockup.
Yeah, this logo here.
Yeah, maybe
So,
if you do other lockups and get a variety and
maybe I should
stuff,
just order like,
then
a,
that'll
like
probably
half a dozen different
yeah,
T-shirts.
that's why
so
it feels
feel
like
better.
a uniform. That makes sense. I
Yeah.
never really thought about it, but you're like, all right, doing the thing, gonna put this shirt on. So it is. You need to diversify.
And that T-shirt is fun because I'm not going to tell you which episode it was, but of the Adjunct series where I had the big fall
the
in the
trauma?
kitchen, it's got a big like rip under
Oh,
the
you
arm.
need to definitely. I didn't know that. Yeah,
I mean, it's not that big, but
okay.
like not enough
It's
to throw away.
traumatizing, though.
Every time I put it on, I kind of think of that.
Oh no, I didn't know. I
It's a
didn't
rough
know
time.
that. It's
Noah
time to
keeps trying to make me
We need to
watch it.
swap it up.
He's like, come on, you can watch it. It's been like a year. I'm like, no, man, I'm not fucking watching. I don't want to hear it because I didn't mute it.
Okay, can we do? Oh no, maybe when you're ready, we should do one like reacting to my
We could do
my
that
podcast
on a YouTube
fall
video
or something. Yeah, that's the thinking. You could do it like that, like reacting to my
Just make fun of
ridiculous
myself.
thing. Hey, you gotta laugh sometimes,
Guess so.
right?
Look, it was pretty ridiculous, but it was like it was a massive cut, and I fucked my whole shit up, man.
I remember it was bad.
Yellow
Yeah, it was
bruises
bad.
on my knee, my
Yeah, it was
hip,
bad.
my arm. There's a massive gash under my arm, and like when you think about it, hang on, was it this arm? Yeah, it was this one. When you got your arm down, the skin's touching, so all of
Yeah.
a sudden, I've got this massive open wound
Ugh.
under my arm, and
Yeah.
I had to almost like keep it like this.
Yeah,
And for like
oh,
2
gosh.
weeks.
Oh.
So like I had to like rest, and I think it was cold times too, if I'm not mistaken.
So it just hurt every time you were.
So
touching.
and if I put my arm down, like and then it went as it was healing, it went like oh.
Did you have a bandage on?
I had a bandage on for when it was like pussy and gross, but
Okay.
also you want to let it air dry. So
Yeah, that's key.
I heal pretty quick actually. I'm pretty good, but
Wolverine.
right always.
yeah,
But that Wolverine,
yeah.
he's also just a Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, what are we talking about? Drip, merch. I'm gonna get more clothes.
You can get
And we have
some
more
of your
BOS merch,
Get some
and
of-
we've got
yeah.
different designs. I never even got them. We got one printed up to test run from that place in Peel Metro.
Yeah, I
Where they
remember
did the print. We just did before we made the T-screen.
Yeah,
we got the
that was
designs.
when we wanted, because I have some custom ones because of that too, because we were going to all the
dress.
beer festivals. So I got the dress, which I love. I think
That
I got
shit
two,
was cool.
didn't I?
You got. I think it was just one each.
Oh, okay.
I think I
But
got a
love
tank
the dress, yeah.
with we both got the same Get It In Your design.
Yeah.
I got a tank with it. We wore it to like a festival. Oh, what's the cool one? Fooduni. We watched Fooduni. That's what we got it for.
yeah.
So it was like 3 years ago.
What a time. What a time.
Still
Did that one
blessed.
come back? It did come back in the end.
It's
Oh,
supposed
no,
to.
because then they
2020.
wanted to, and then COVID happened.
And then
so of
COVID, and
course
then
not.
this year they didn't do it
Okay.
either.
Yeah, jeez.
I don't know if I'd still go. I don't know if I'd be ready to do a fest.
Yeah, that's pretty
hectic.
hectic for a while. I think it's going to take some time on that one.
Yeah, definitely gonna chill. But that's why we got those done. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'll do that. But I don't know. I just kind of like the look of just having random clothes. I'm not buying a lot of clothes as much as I'm getting like shoes and stuff. But I've got enough different things. I could probably wear some.
There you go.
Something more
Yeah, switch it
interesting.
up, whatever makes
I just
you
feel like it doesn't it
different.
look better.
Yeah, it looks different. I feel like this actually would be great for the TMF podcast, which is Craig's other podcast, guys.
Yeah,
C's,
Bad
C's,
Habits.
C's other podcast.
Jeez.
Sorry, but
Bad
their
Habits.
government name out there.
Sorry.
Bad Habits podcast every Monday on YouTube. The Movement Fam.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're actually youtube.com/Movement Fam.
Correct.
Know that.
And it goes premieres 8 p.m. EST.
Yeah.
You know,
But yeah,
that's-
I actually feel like if you all were getting to actually sit and hang out with each other, this would be a good setting for it. Because when you think about it, you're normally alone. I think the
Oh.
setting also looks interesting because you're with somebody, so it's like two of you on this thing with a cool light in the background.
and it's taking up the whole
It's
screen.
taking up
There's
the whole
no
screen.
the box.
Where
with the
usually you're more a
bars.
box in right.
Well,
up front
I can
like
do
this,
it without
yeah.
the black bars and make it go in the middle of the screen. But I
Mhm.
just thought it kind of looked messier sometimes.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Whereas like this looks pretty clean.
Yeah.
Because we've got the other camera plugged in, so it's like
I'm talking
HD.
tech stuff, guys.
Yeah, I know we're all over the fucking place tonight. We haven't really talked about beer that much. So that was that. There was something else I want to touch on. No, we talked about all of these things. Okay, so there's another segment or another video series that
we've
we've
started.
started.
Yeah.
Tell them about it.
We're all about the video. So this one is called Stout Sessions, and basically what it entails is a short form piece of content. Sorry, I'm speaking marketing.
Jeez.
It's a shorter
Slow down.
videos that we're uploading, which are just more casual chats, so not in this like long form way with the podcast, which I'm not always on anyways, or barely on actually. I guess I should say I'm not. A
More
co-host.
lately though, because like I told y'all, I haven't been going out of my way to book
Yeah.
episodes.
I love your
hard.
friendship podcast though. Like I love you and Nate talking. I love you and Noah. Like you guys when you're
Yeah, I might grab
together.
them
You
on
should
again
do
soon
just,
before the end of the year.
even solo conversations.
Yeah,
Like,
just
I think
the-
that's why I like the Chinwag too. But I just love
We're trying to do a
people I
podcast
like
version.
talking to each other. It's cool,
Yeah.
you know. So, but yeah, so Stout Sessions, small series where we grab a stout from Craig's very expansive cellar. But now you actually
try
said
them.
you think you're running out of stouts, and you had more sours in the end, right?
Way more sours and stouts than I
Yeah.
thought.
And I always just felt like all of these were stouts all this time.
I kind of thought most of them were too, and then I'm
Yeah.
really looking at them, like, oh wow, most of these are fucking sours, which is
Yeah.
cool, but we're trying to do
Sour
imperial.
hour. Okay, I'll stop talking.
That's all right. Well, you came up with
It's like
the
Stout Sessions. Yeah, I'm just trying to go with it, So I
sour
came up with
hour,
Stout
which-
Sessions, which was
it's a
literally
long
just like, hey, let's talk about something.
And then like an hour later, we were filming though. We did.
Yeah, we just did it immediately. But I think it's like a fun piece of content, just talk about cool topics in a shorter way. And
Yeah.
then maybe we can do something with the sours too after and see.
Because we have so many. The idea though, just so y'all know, was we were trying to every Wednesday. I have like strict drinking regimen, and
Yes.
Wednesdays I'm not supposed to drink, but I started sliding in
cheeky.
exactly at the end of the night, like a high ABV stout that I would never drink. Like tonight, we're filming this on Saturday night. Like I'm not drinking a 10% stout tonight. I won't be able to drink anything else. And I like to move through the color wheel and such. You know the vibes.
Of course.
And so on Wednesdays, I was just drinking them by myself because I can drink an 11% 500ml bottle and it doesn't fuck with me. But then Tiff started getting in with me. She's like, "Oh, I'll jump in on that because you love a good high
Yeah, I
ABV
love
stout."
them for sure.
So then we'd end up having two,
Stouts are
which
my
is the
second
equivalent
favorite
of
style.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I
incredible.
love them.
But I've been really, really enjoying it, and it's cool that you're drinking them with me because then we get to drink two.
Yeah.
Because I can deal with I can handle it. Yeah, make sure you capture that. I can handle those. We can. If you're not drinking either, I think you don't drink those nights, or you do.
I don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So we're doing this
The
together.
goal is
to not. I know.
The goal is not to.
It's different for you because it's wine. I got to document everything. Sometimes you can have a crush. I guess I could just have crushes. Anyways, so we started doing that. Tiff was like, "Yeah, let's just come up with something." So we started that. We've dropped one episode so far, which checked it. I'm gonna forget to put it. I was gonna say I'll put it in the description. I probably won't.
Yeah, you'll have to listen back to this too.
I don't
We
always
have
do
some
that.
other
Though.
things.
Oh, we have to do them things for the
Yeah,
ad
so
read.
maybe you'll remember.
Maybe. Okay, if it's not there, just check. It's on the YouTube channel. Fuck man. And it's on Facebook. We put the whole video on Facebook. So this next thing I just want to quickly touch on is something we're going to cover in the next one in more detail. But I thought I'd just mention it now because it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting.
So we were in Michigan in 2017.
Yeah.
And loved it. I've been twice for beer. You went once, I guess, with us for that one. We did the beer festival with Michigan.
And that vlog.
What was it
so
called?
fun.
Was this a Michigan Beer Festival?
I feel like it was pretty straightforward. I'll double check. But
I've
we
got
did
the
a
thing on
vlog
the
on
wall.
it.
I've got the flag in the bedroom on the wall.
Oh yeah.
Dave got me a flag.
We did a vlog of it too. That was
You
fun.
did. Yeah, check that out. That one's hilarious. We watched it the
That
other
was a
night.
good time.
We were fucking wilding back.
Yeah.
Like we were out of control.
Those
That was
vlogs
the most.
were so hilarious.
They were
They
really
so,
funny,
We
but-
were so ridiculous, and then having like Scotty there. It's
Because
just,
Scott is out of control, so it makes us. I feel like it's been more restrained with just me. It's like, and we haven't had any like wild trips. But that was one of the last trips where we just got like fucked up.
That was.
It was.
So
We had
funny.
harrowing experience, like life and death experiences. I seriously watched the vlog. Like it's really funny.
Yeah, this is
And
cool
the
because
beer
this is
festival was
Michigan
one of
blog post I just saw of ours too. Oh, whoa, no one asked you to just play that.
I did a blog post about it.
Yeah, we did one of like where to drink in
Oh, look.
Michigan. So
It's not me.
yeah,
Probably because you told me to do it.
but
Point being, the beer festival, whatever it was. Either way, we went out there. Why are we talking about Michigan? Oh yeah. So, man, the tangents are pretty good tonight.
yeah, I love it. I love a tangent.
Bell's Brewery. They're actually in Kalamazoo. We did not get out there. They got purchased by Kirin, by Lion Brew, like a brewing company or whatever. Which is, I thought it was Australian because they own fucking all the breweries in Australia. But I think they're owned by Kirin out of Japan, is their parent company. And they are buying Bell's Brewery as founder Larry Bell retires.
Mm-hmm.
So that is
And I
very
think he
interesting.
was like, I think it's interesting too because it's not. He didn't pass it on to his family. He has like family, but it seemed like nobody wanted to take it, so that seemed like a factor in the decision. Because he was sick, and it's like he had a revelation after being very sick. I remember reading this,
Is that what it was? Okay.
and that's
I
why he's like,
didn't know
I'm going to sell it.
Okay.
But I thought it was just interesting. I think because we're watching Succession, so to me, I was just like, "Ooh, I'm surprised like kids didn't want to fight over like get in
power
on
and
this,
stuff.
you know." But anyways, yeah. So
Watch
sorry.
Succession if you haven't.
Succession's
It's
so
fucking
great. So
crazy.
now when I see like family businesses, I'm always like, "Oh, the kids! I wonder how the kids are trying to like get in on this."
Food's on the way. Jeez, we
Oh,
haven't
wow.
started yet.
Okay.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, we're going to talk about that in the Stout Sessions. Yeah, he opened it in 1985, so triple OGs. They also own New Belgium, which is interesting. And basically, New Belgium, one of their reasons that they did it
It was called Michigan Summer Beer Festival.
Michigan Summer Beer Fest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. They didn't disclose the price of the deal, but basically, so that was an interesting thing. Obviously, they're known best for their Two-Hearted IPA, which is a phenomenal West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
And I wonder what people are going to think about that. Well, they also bought, Sapporo bought Anchor. Yeah, Lion bought New Belgium.
These purchases are not messing around, eh? Like,
No, Sam Adams bought Dogfish Head, which we talked about, and AB bought Kona and Red Hook recently.
Mhm.
These are all the recent ones anyway. But yeah, so we were going to really just talk about, not now though, but just want to touch on some mention that's happening. But
Mhm.
we're going to go into maybe a detail of a deep dive or deeper dive.
yeah, it's just kind of like, does selling your brewery make you a sellout?
Really, that's what it's
That's kind of
coming
like
down
what it is, and I think it's interesting because beer is in a different world than say something like tech. Where like
Exactly.
when you sell tech, you're like, yes, good for you. That's like the whole reason you're starting this company.
Basically,
is
no
like
one
how
ever
are you going to
mad
get
about
great valuation that you can eventually.
What's
like,
your exit
what's
plan?
your exit plan? Exactly.
Always.
What's the exit? What's the exit?
But beer
So,
doesn't get that.
Beer doesn't get
grace.
that energy. Yeah, they don't get that energy. I wonder, like restaurant owners, like if restaurant owners sold to, I'm trying to think. I don't know the company's names, but whoever say owns Milestones and Jack Astor's, all those things always under the same umbrella. Like, does that person get like shat on? Like, do you know what I mean? I just think the beer thing is so interesting. So yeah.
I wonder if they buy restaurants or if they just start chains. Because I used to work for beer.
I was thinking, like, what if you saw
They had
if someone would be
a-
smart enough to buy a restaurant or somebody who started 2 or
and
3
then franchise it.
and then franchise it out?
If that's what those conglomerates do,
Yeah.
it's a shame for that owner because you can fucking. I mean, franchise is probably not easy, but
Yeah.
if you're already killing it.
Oh, sorry, it wouldn't be franchising technically, because you wouldn't franchise it.
No, you would just start
Yeah,
your
you
own
just
thing, I
keep
guess.
opening
But
new
it's the
locations,
same.
Yeah, because franchising
Similar
would be.
concept, I guess. 'cause
If
you have
I
to get the
own something,
processes.
I would totally franchise it out. If
Yes.
I owned a restaurant, I wouldn't sell it to a corporation. I would try to franchise.
But we
it.
about that life. Not everyone's about that life.
Yeah, that's true actually. So that's
I would
fair.
rather set up all these different things that just kind of like earn money for you in the
Yeah.
background.
Why
That's
did
really
our
what
video
we're-
just pop up twice in the second? Did you notice that?
I didn't even see it.
Okay,
What
that's so
happened?
interesting. It like the screen popped up again in the top left, just like a hey, this is what you look like over here.
Oh, that usually happens when I go like this.
Oh,
So
it
maybe it's
just
a bit of a
glitched.
glitch
Yeah.
with the thing.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. I prefer a franchise, but anyways, fine. The corporate way is also interesting. So again, yes, does it make you a sellout, or are you just doing what you should do when some money comes your way and somebody wants to buy something amazing that you built? So it'll be
That's
curious
really
to deep dive, and I'm curious about other people's opinions on that too.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like it's a bit touchy subject, but I wonder some of the things we'll discuss, like is it okay that it's Kirin or Lion, whatever, that bought them, and not AB, because AB's the devil, but are the others looked at in the same way? I know that Lion feels a little predatory in Australia as well, so they're buying up a bunch of ones out there, but I don't hear about it much over here. It's just because Australasia is the region, so
Yeah.
Australia, I guess, is closer proximity to a lot of those companies. They have a large presence in Australia. Like for us, drinking Japanese beer was like something I did. I went out with this one friend, shouts to Steve Duck. We used to go to Richmond and go to like Vietnamese restaurants, and we had Asahi was our joint.
Yeah.
So like that was our thing. We used to go to my favorite bar in the city. They always had Asahi on tap. I was always amped because we get the Japanese beer.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's like I think there's a bit of a culture there for it.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they have a bit more of a presence out there, where here I haven't seen that as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
That makes sense. Yeah,
So that's
no,
going to be
it's
good. So check
interesting,
out Stout Sessions once again on the YouTube channel. Pretty dope. We'll try and remember to put it in the description. I could take a note probably. And do
Yeah,
it.
I think I have notes for this podcast
Yeah.
anyway, so I'll put them.
Add it to that. Yeah. What was the other thing? The Michigan vlog and Stout Sessions.
Yeah.
So with that said, I kind of feel like we're at the halfway point before.
Oh yeah, it's time
might
for
be
the ad read. Time for your ad read.
Are you ready? So I actually have to read something out, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to hold up the product as well.
Okay, perfect.
Like I said, I'm just going to read this. Let's just do it. So, support for BAOS this episode is brought to you by Manscaped. There, you can see what you're doing right there. Who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. That's a bar.
Ooh.
Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Shall I repeat that?
Repeat that.
20% off, which is a fucking great amount of money saved, and free worldwide shipping. Doesn't matter where you are, you get free shipping. If I'm shipping something light to Australia, that's just costing $50.
Yeah.
So that is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
The code is BAOS at manscaped.com. It's going to come up on the screen here. We're actually going to make sure we do this because
in addition to B-roll.
In addition to B-roll, look at us. This is professional ad read right here. When you get a sponsor like Manscaped, you don't mess around. So this is for the people with balls out there. I guess it's weird to be able to talk this.
I like you're close with your audience,
right?
Because you're close with your
We're
audience.
cool, right?
Yeah.
We've been doing this for 6.5 years, almost 7 actually.
You can talk about balls.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we stopped saying the C word that people didn't want us to say back in the day. No problem. We're cool with that. But, you know, we've done hundreds of episodes, 300, 350 episodes, something like that. I mean, we're cool by now, right? If y'all listening, there's a lot of y'all. We get, you know, I'm seeing the regular downloads every week for the audio. I'm like, you know, you guys know us by now. We can talk about this. So, imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. I'm one of the first people, fortunately for me, to try the new 4.0, and I'm blown away by the performance. Facts. The craftsmanship and details on the 4.0 are next level. So, previous to this, obviously, you know, we all take care of ourselves, and I used to just basically had these hair clippers that I used to use when I shaved my head. I don't shave my head anymore, so I don't use them anymore. The only time I use them, I trim up the chest, so it's like chest hair, trim up my old fella, and then I got these smaller ones that I use for the details. Now, these are just all metal, and I am like slicing up. It's Freddy Krueger in there. It's just like bam, bam, bam. Every time I, you know, every few weeks, whatever it is. Yeah. I know, it's pretty bad.
I hear you.
You hear me, right?
I hear you. And I'm like, oh, gosh, this sucks for you guys.
Yeah. It gets rough, right?
Yeah.
Literally. And I didn't really go and look for alternatives. So I used the 4.0 today. Now, you're supposed to, can I please have the product? I need to show the man down. It's all there. The actual product. Pass me the whole box and I'll just do it.
Oh, yeah, you have a nice, beautiful box. And you have this beautiful...
Yeah, look at this right here. Your balls will thank you. I shit you not, they will. So, basically, this is the kit. They give you the kit right here. This is this bad boy, right? And the actual machine is him. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Look at that sleek. It's like, it looks like it's a bowl shaver from the future. You want to turn it on? Right there, you press it. Look at that. Ooh, lights up.
Nice light sound. Too.
Right?
Yeah,
Super light. Now, I'm going to read it all. It's going to actually explain it. But I went guard free. This is where I pulled it out. You get the guard. So you have like the 1 and the 2 and all that type of stuff, right? I kept them in here because I didn't even need them, you know. Use your little guard, slip them bad boys on, bam, bam. So I went guard free and I was almost finished. And I was like, oh my God, is this the first time I've ever done this and not cut myself? And at the very end, I cut myself.
Okay.
So
but you came closer.
I came pretty close.
Okay.
Now, obviously, they're not claiming to not cut. You're supposed to wear the guard. So I took that risk on myself. And it was only like once, I think maybe twice, but I was going, I took some risks.
I didn't hear any whimpers or...
No,
anything,
see? I feel like there's like this, it's not, obviously not plastic, but it's like, it just didn't feel like it was this big cold metal thing that was going to rip my shit apart. So like, I felt so much more comfortable using it, like no exaggeration. So, Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer, this one here, 4.0, features a cutting-edge ceramic blade. There you go. I knew it was something different. To reduce grooming accidents, I'm telling you. Thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology, I now feel confident shaving my boys, and I do. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on-off switch, which I showed you, that can engage in the travel lock, which always pissed me off because I would rock up somewhere and my other thing would always stop.
And also, you'd be like, don't put your hand in this thing or something. Because it might, yeah, anyways. I didn't even think about that. Cool.
Yep, which is super annoying. It gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more... Look, you got the little spotlight in there. Look at that, right? For a more precise shave, which obviously I use that bad boy immediately. The Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard length for sizes 1 through 4, but I go 0, baby. Did I mention wireless charging? I actually didn't play with this yet. The wireless charging system uses an electromagnetic induction which can help battery length last longer. Blokes, if you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, I'm not going to lie, guilty. I always like wipe it off and stuff, but I don't enjoy it.
That's interesting.
I take care of myself, so I'm not super worried. Like, I'm clean,
yeah,
and I don't go anywhere, so this is what it is. But like, you know, it's not optimal. If you've been using the same nut trimmer on your face, you're doing it wrong. No one wants to end up with pubes in their mouth. Facts. Even though I actually have a brush, and this has a nice brush too. It's just a brush, whatever. Cleans the stuff out. And it's actually, it's going to say this in a sec. It's time to get your own ball, hair, and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time and enhance your confidence with some nice, smooth boys. Get 20% off, and free shipping with the code BAOS at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. So this is the final thing here. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BAOS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping worldwide at manscaped.com. And use code BAOS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Love it.
Lovely. I like
and
your balls will thank you.
Right? And next, I will talk about these next week. There's like a ball deodorizer and a ball toner. And I use both of these.
I love the names. I just love this. I just like ball toner.
I was like, Tiff, come smell them.
I was just like ball toner.
Oh, and they give you the nose trimmer too.
Oh, that's necessary.
So we got a month worth.
It's just grooming, keeping yourself nice and clean and like
it's key, right?
Smooth and well attended to, like the women do. Everybody's gotta like take care of themselves well.
Right.
So good.
Take care of yourself, y'all. So now with that, we're gonna get the next beer.
Yes, we are. I was looking at those empty glasses,
yes.
and you're gonna explain to the people what's going down.
Yes, and then should I tell them what's going on now? The new segment. All right. So we've been wanting to do this for probably 2 years. There's a segment that we're going to give you guys the very first. It's almost like a practice run or like a teaser of what it's going to be. It's going to be our new live video series for the winter. Thank you, baby. It's going to be called Murder She Drank. And it's true crime, but this specific one is a beer-related one. That would be the Uber Eats, sorry. And being that it's a beer-related one, we thought, you know what, let's pop it on this podcast, give you guys a quick rundown on it, show you how we're going to do it. Now, I want to preface this. We completely stole this idea. It was from these YouTubers that Tiff watches called Keto Connect, so shouts to them. They did one that we really enjoyed called Murder She Ate, because they eat keto food and do true crime.
Yeah.
They used to do it live. I think they did it once a week. Yeah. And they stopped doing it.
So good. I loved it.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
And they stopped doing it. And we were like, oh man, Tiff was like, we should do one for BOS. We talked about it for
so long.
At least a year, maybe probably more, probably 2.
Yeah.
So we're like, you know what? Let's finally do it. So it's going to be called Murder She Drank. So if anyone sees that's, did we come up with it? No, we completely stole it. And shouts to y'all. But y'all ain't doing it. We're fulfilling our own need for it. And hopefully you guys too.
People like it out there.
Yeah.
Murder mysteries are always interesting.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Just like, or not the mysteries, but the stories. They're just kind of like true crimes. It's interesting. That's why Dateline exists. That's why all these, the 48 Hours, all these guys, right? Like,
exactly.
It's extremely interesting. I know the sushi is going to knock soon, so if you guys hear that,
you can just grab that, pop it in. At least it doesn't have to worry too much about things being. This won't take too much longer anyway. So we're going to crack this next beer as well, and this is our latest collab. I've been waiting for this, and it kind of matches the background. There we go. Come on. This is our newest variant of Bière de Vacances. Our what would you call it? There we go. Look at that sexy ass can right there. Woof. Now this is a I don't know what to call it. It's a sour. It's a sour beer. It's not a smoothie sour, but it's like a fruited sour. A creamsicle sour was the original. This version is the ramped up version. The second, well, they did another variant that wasn't a collab with us last Christmas, but this one is the newest one. It's got blueberries, guava, and passion fruit. Passion fruit isn't really mentioned here much, but man, it's so good. It was normally 4%. We ramped it up to 6%. Obviously, it's got lactose, so it's it's not a smoothie sour, but it's a it's a heavily fruited sour beer that isn't that far away from a smoothie, if I'm honest with you. So I'll wait till Tiff comes back to take the photos. She's just getting the old food, popping it up in the kitchen. Yeah, so this is out now across Quebec. Super proud of this one. Like, I fucking love this beer. Like, I really, really love this beer. Simon and the team at Les Pas did a fantastic job. Super proud of it. We came up with this together. We had a few different variant ideas that we came up with over the last year or two. We're actually going to do another one right as the pandemic hit and do all this stuff, but didn't work out so much. So
can you move your hand slightly over here? I want to get that glue in the back.
You ready for that? Yeah, you ready?
Yeah. And you can talk to people you're not.
Oh yeah, sorry guys, I'm doing the pour. This is way too much. I'm going to pour it out after. Yes. Get that.
Perfect. Awesome.
Oh, tipped up the whole can.
I'll take it. Beautiful.
So
I could just take. Do you want to just have a beer each?
Yeah, we can have one each.
Yeah, let's just do one each.
I mean, they're only small.
Because they're little tiny guys.
Little small guys. But yeah, really proud of this one, man. This one's awesome. I've had it a bunch of times. We got to do some content on it, but I'm so impressed. It's just so tasty. It's so fruity. Like, they just killed the game. So definitely cop that. So the first test run or teaser, whatever you want to call it, of Murder, She Drank is the murder of Richard Oland, who was the CEO, I guess, or like the heir to the Moosehead family.
He was the VP.
Was he? There you go. But his father started the company. It was grandpa, whatever the fuck it was. Started the company. He was out there in New Brunswick, St. John, I believe. He was murdered a few years ago. And Tiff kind of put together like a synopsis of the case, kind of combining some stuff from a couple of websites and that. I'm just going to read through that. This is how it's going to work. Basically, one of us or both of us go back and forth. We read it. And then the idea is that the audience, being that you'll be live, will be able to jump in with any thoughts. Or, I mean, if you know the case, don't spoil it. But if you have questions or thoughts like, oh, the son did it, or whatever the fuck, you can jump in with that. So, with that said, do you want to start reading?
Yeah, let me jump in.
Okay.
Let's
So
go.
you can
So
just-
we'll basically do like this. We're gonna drink the beer.
But first of all,
Reviewed it.
cheers.
So cheers.
Oof, get that in you. Cheers, guys.
I love the mouthfeel always on
Yeah.
On the Spence
Oh, it's
beers.
delicious. So smooth.
Yeah. Just always a nice, just smooth. Just feels so good.
I'm so proud of this one. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I hope you do it every year.
So today we're going to talk about the murder of Richard Oland. Okay.
Okay.
Respect to the family. All right.
And we do it once
Put
again. We
that out
chose
there.
this one because
Respect to the family. This is the most relevant, we think, for this. So in the end, if you don't end up listening to the series after this, at least you heard the one that had to do with beer.
and that's the point, because we know it's completely different. So
Yeah.
we're like, let's make it its own piece of content.
Yeah.
It's live. You can tune in. You can watch it later.
Yeah.
Some people won't give a flying fuck. Some people will think it's interesting. We'll always be drinking when we're doing it.
Yep.
So that we would have to
And
tie
you
in
drink with
something
us, and
beer.
we'll talk about it live. If you
Exactly.
like,
Drink
if
a
you
beer
like.
too and see what's going on.
So Richard Oland was a Canadian businessman, the owner of several trucking companies and an investment firm in St. John, New Brunswick. He was a member of the Oland family who owned Moosehead Brewery. What do you think about Moosehead?
I'm not mad at them. The beer isn't great, but like I'm not mad at them as far as like what they, their macro stature. and stuff.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
they
So
don't-
yeah. So they don't get anger, right?
No, I have no anger to
Yeah,
them at all. I think
yeah.
they're just a really, really large independent.
Because I was like, they're independent in the end.
Yeah,
But
I would
guess it's
imagine they're the biggest in Canada, independent-wise. I can't imagine who'd be bigger.
Let me double check, because who would be? Is Canada's oldest independent brewery.
Okay, so they're still independent, so you can't be
Sixth
mad.
generation of ownership.
So they're just
Complete
being,
opposite to the other guys we were just
but they're
talking
doing completely that. But they're doing a macro model,
about. Yeah, it's a macro model for
where
sure.
essentially it was one beer forever.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess when you think of like Mill Street and stuff, that's kind of where I thought. Or sorry, that's what I thought Steam Whistle. That's
It
where
was
I
like a
thought
Steam Whistle stuff.
would
Yes.
go completely. in
But
the
they
end.
started to bring out a few different variants and such.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, yes. So, Moosehead, just curious what you think about it. I don't pick it up. I don't really drink it or anything like that. But
I
respect because it's Canadian. And,
Exactly.
Respect, yeah.
And that's also why we chose this one, Canadian.
Yeah.
Local.
In 1981, he left his position as executive VP of the brewery after his brother Derek was chosen to become president. Sounded like a succession situation. We could bypass that, but it seems like, people weren't all happy about the way, he wasn't happy the way things rolled out.
Gotcha.
So, on the morning of July 7th, 2011, the body of Richard Oland was discovered lying face down in a pool of blood in his office by his personal assistant, Maureen Adamson.
Savage.
Sergeant Mark Smith of the St. John Police Force testified that Richard's office was one of the bloodiest crime scenes of his career, with the most blows to the victim. There were 45 wounds to Richard's hand, neck, and head during the autopsy. 6 of these wounds were found on Richard's hands, likely due to Richard trying to protect himself from his attacker. So 45 wounds across his hands, neck, and head. The attack continued after Richard was defenseless on the floor. His skull had suffered catastrophic damage. The bones of his eye sockets were like a cracked eggshell. My goodness, this person went in. Possibly from him falling face first into the floor. And a concave area spanning 10 centimeters in length, 7 centimeters across, and 2 centimeters deep was discovered at the autopsy. Portions of his brain matter were on Richard's back. So that's like, you hate this guy. Yeah, that's like,
that's passion.
You hate this.
You
guy.
can't just go and kill some random person.
That sounded like Nicole and like O.J. Simpson type things, allegedly.
Legend.
The attack had left Richard's blood on every wall of the office. Blood splatter was seen on his desk, computer, chair, filing cabinets, and on the empty pizza box in the garbage can. Blood had also soaked through 3 layers of flooring, permeating the ceiling of the office below. Yeah, that's a lot. The last known person to see Richard alive was Dennis Oland, his son.
Okay.
Who do you think did it so far? Does you see where it gets you? That's right. I feel like anything you watch, you're like immediately, clearly it's this person. There's just no question about it.
You go into
it. Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
The two were discussing family genealogy, a rare mutual interest. Otherwise, theirs was a stormy relationship, marred by a father's sharp manner and high expectations, and a son's messy personal life and disorderly finances. Dennis Oland, then 43, worked as an investment advisor at CIBC Wood Gundy, but had trouble handling his own money. He was frequently in debt, not least to his father, who loaned Dennis about $500K during the younger man's divorce, with stringent conditions. Dennis would also later tell police that he resented his father's 8-year affair with a local real estate agent and Diana, though he had never confronted Richard about his feelings. On his way to seeing his father on 6th of July 2011, Dennis forgot something at his own nearby office and doubled back in his car without ever reaching CIBC before finally returning to his father's office. After visiting his father, Dennis drove home to Rothesay, the placid suburb where many of St. John's wealthy families live. Before arriving, he stopped at a wharf to see if his children were swimming there, he would later say. At 6:44 p.m., roughly the time Dennis arrived at the wharf, his father's iPhone received his last text message, which pinged off a nearby cell phone tower rather than one closer to downtown. The phone was the only item taken from Richard's office.
I just want to stop there to say, in the end, Dennis, potential suspect, who knows, whatever, went to go see his dad, went to go see his kids from his divorced marriage, went to go see his kids at the exact same, and the cell phone tower of his father's phone, which went missing from the crime scene, pinged off a tower at the same place that Dennis ended up coincidentally being at that time.
That's it. Thank you for clarifying.
I just want to make sure that people can absorb that while they're making their thoughts.
Yeah. If you haven't heard this already. Mm-hmm. Thank you. In the Far End Corporation office, Richard Oland lay surrounded by blood. No murder weapon would ever be found, but one detective speculated that a drywall hammer might have been used, given the alternating blunt and sharp force wounds covering Richard's head and neck. You want to do the next part?
Yeah, let's talk about the investigation.
Let's talk about it.
So shortly after being notified of Richard's death, members of the Oland family, including his wife Connie Oland, daughters Lisa Busten and Jacqueline Walsh, probably butchered that name, and son Dennis Oland, arrived at the police station to give interviewers and formal statements. Oh, I should come up to you because remember, one goes out of focus.
Sorry. I couldn't because I was trying to read.
Yeah. Connie reported that on July 6, 2011, she and Richard were both at home until Richard received a call from Maureen Adamson at 9:50.
That's the secretary of the man Richard who was murdered.
Exactly. Reminding him of his appointment in his office with 2 insurance brokers at 10 a.m. Richard then left home for the office, and that was the last time Connie spoke with him. Connie said it was not uncommon for Richard not to return to their residence at night. Probably because he's having an affair.
Oh, with Diana.
Yeah. Lisa Busten, Dennis's sister, was interviewed alone. Busten said that her father could have had anyone as an enemy as he was a hard-nosed, this is a quote, a hard-nosed businessman, pure business, and if you worked hard, you would get his respect. So we're getting the impression that Richard's not the most liked here, you know?
People aren't banging with
it. It becomes one of those soap opera things, and that's always happens. Like, the soap operas always have, like, someone massive die, and it's always, like, the businessman that everyone hates, and there's this mystery of 11 people that could potentially kill him. And, you know, the dramatics of, like, every person's facial expression when they find out that the person died and stuff like that. It's just like, but he's one of those guys, it's clearly, where it's like anyone can want to
murder this dude.
Yeah. Dennis's interview lasted over 5 hours and was separate from those of his family members. Video footage showed Dennis providing Constable Davidson. I'm just going to assume CST is Constable.
Yeah.
That feels right,
I would say so.
Yeah. Constable Davidson with a written and verbal account of his activities for the day prior to Richard's death. Dennis believed that his father had high expectations of him, but that he was not meeting those expectations. Davidson told Dennis that cameras could verify whether or not he was telling the truth about his presence at his father's office and asked Dennis what clothing he had worn the day before. Dennis said he was wearing these pants, like referring to what he's wearing, the shoes that he's wearing, a blue shirt, and a navy blazer. At the halfway mark on the video footage from this interrogation, Davidson informed Dennis that he was the primary suspect in his father's murder. Davidson read Dennis his rights, and Dennis phoned attorney Bill Teed, who told him to stop talking to the police, of course, right? They'll obviously shut your mouth now. Davidson told Dennis that there is absolutely no question in his mind that you did this, and I want to know why. And this opportunity to speak with a lawyer was passed. Which you can't do that to people. You can't say that, like, hey, it's too late now, you can't.
I don't think you're ever allowed.
You can't do that.
You're accusing someone of something.
Yeah, you're accusing someone of something with little evidence, because this is right after.
Right,
you haven't looked into it, and you're like, obviously you saw him last, so it was you. There could be no other possibility. And then say, don't give up and, tell us the truth, which is just so messed up. Police allowed Dennis to leave just after 11 p.m. without making any effort to seize the clothes Dennis said he had worn the day before. Robert McFadden, in his interview conducted by Davidson, said he left Richard's office at 5:30 p.m. with his son, Galen McFadden, as per usual. So I believe Robert and David, Robert and Galen are associates of Richard. Could also be the exact same people that his secretary told him that he had the appointment with.
Right.
That was 10 a.m., so no. So these are people, I did read that those were just financial associates. So McFadden said his job was to manage Richard's finances and that Richard had asked that a trust fund be set up for his heirs.
Okay.
Money's always something in here, isn't it?
Always.
McFadden said that upon Connie's death, the trust would be dissolved and the remaining assets would be distributed to Richard's 3 children. He said that after Connie's death, Dennis's portion of his inheritance would be reduced by $538,000, with $269,000 going to each of Dennis's sisters, covering the expenses of his divorce, which had been paid for by Richard, and allowing Dennis to retain the family home. So remember, Dennis has a lot of financial problems, right? So obviously, I guess he has a badass dad, and he's seeming kind of like a waste man. He's basically Roy. What's his name? Sorry, not Roy.
Kendall.
He's basically Kendall in Succession. If you watch Succession, you should watch it. It's on HBO.
I feel like this episode is almost sponsored by Succession.
Yeah, sorry. No, just Manscaped.
Just Manscaped. Use the code BAOS for $20 off. 20% off, free shipping worldwide.
So that's pretty interesting already so far. But yeah, do you want to continue to take it, or
yes.
do you want to go ahead?
McFadden and Adamson testified that Richard did not leave the office between arriving in the morning and Maureen leaving at 5:45 p.m., and that Richard was adamant that alcohol period should not be kept in his office. Shame. Toxicology.
You actually literally owned a brewery. Or are owners, your family of the owning of a brewery, and you don't want alcohol in your office. It's very interesting. But anyways.
Toxicology reports from the medical examiner indicate that Richard has some alcohol in his blood. The McFaddens shared information to advance the investigation, with Galen McFadden giving a sample of his DNA in 2012, a year after the murder. Robert McFadden declined to give a DNA sample. Interesting. Forensic testing revealed that the blood matching Galen's DNA profile was found on the curtains of Richard's office, in the bathroom sink, and on a paper towel in the bathroom garbage can. 1 year after this discovery, officers covertly obtained Robert McFadden's DNA from a straw at a restaurant. The police forensics unit concluded the three areas where Galen's blood was found were unrelated to Richard's murder. No results concerning Robert's DNA were released. In November 2013, Dennis Oland was charged with second-degree murder for the death of his father. Police stated that no one else would be charged. Dennis entered a plea of not guilty on November 18th, that's my dad's birthday, 2013. Justice Hugh McClellan of the New Brunswick Court of Queen's Bench granted Dennis, I'm trying to read it while staying this far back, so I fuck up. I could just make it larger.
You can just make the text larger.
Yeah. Kid, like I'm fucking new to the game. Hang on, move this out the way. I'm gonna make that 125. That'd be better. There you go.
Yeah, blow it up.
Where were we? Queen's Bench granted Dennis bail on $50,000 on a $50,000 shorty paid by Dennis's uncle and Richard's brother, Derek Oland, the executive chairman of Moosehead Breweries. Dennis was also ordered to surrender his passport and advise the St. John Police Force if he planned to travel outside the province.
So interestingly enough, his family, that's his uncle, right? Straight up giving him money for bail. So that's kind of showing you where their thought is on.
So they're getting along.
This. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Considering the wealth of forensic data left by such a gruesome killing, St. John police treated the crime scene in a remarkably unprofessional way. So this is important, right? Because like you're trying to say that somebody committed murder, you got to be super pristine. I'm acting like
and they didn't take their jacket. Or
like I'm acting like I'm a police officer, but you know what I mean. Everybody knows this. You got to be pristine with the crime scenes, right? That's everyone's data can mess up anything, and in the end, make things inconclusive, make mistrials, all that jazz. So you want to be careful. So the trial revealed that members of the St. John police force had failed to protect the crime scene from contamination. Police used the bathroom where blood belonging to the son of Richard's financial manager was later discovered for 2 days before the bathroom was even tested for evidence. That's a big problem. There was a back door near where Richard's body was found, leading to an alleyway that could have been an exit. Nobody even talked about the fact that somebody could have come in, killed him, and then left.
The back, right?
I have my theory already as to... But we'll keep going.
Okay.
Police went in and out the main door without gloves for nearly a week. It's just like, did the police not even watch a regular detective show where like they're so intense?
They learn how to do their job.
For nearly a week before anyone noticed they should have tested it for fingerprints. The footprint discovered by the forensics team had to be compared against police footwear as several police officers, including Deputy Chief McCloskey, walked through the crime scene unauthorized and without protective gear.
Idiots.
I mean, come on. McCloskey was later accused of suggesting that other officers lie under oath about his presence at the crime scene. And the St. John Police is currently under investigation by the New Brunswick Police Commission for corruption and a potential cover-up.
Interesting.
So one detective handled the jacket's key. So one detective handled the jacket Dennis Oland was wearing on the night of the killing without gloves. Okay? So this is like the main thing, because you're saying somebody killed someone. Yes. You have the main piece of evidence, and you're just going willy-nilly with it. The New Brunswick Police Commission suspended its investigation of the force's handling of the case in 2016 after... Oh, we'll talk about this in a second. I meant to cut that one out because I don't want to tell you guys yet.
Okay.
The jacket was a central element of the prosecution's case against Dennis Oland. In a police interview on July 7th, the day his father's body was discovered... 2011. The day his father's body was discovered, Dennis said he had been wearing a blue sports coat the previous day. But security footage from a downtown mall would show Dennis wearing a brown suit jacket that day. On July 8th, Dennis's wife Lisa took the brown jacket to be dry cleaned. Still, DNA testing found 4 tiny specks of Richard Oland's blood on the garment. The prosecution often returned to this fact during the trial, though the defense maintained that any item of clothing worn during the murder would have been stained with so much blood, based on what they said about the crime scene, makes sense, and noted that no other personal item belonging to Dennis was found to have blood on it. And this note I just wanted to add, because when we listened to this story originally on this Canadian True Crime podcast.
Yeah, shouts to them.
She's an Aussie chick too. This is where we originally heard the story. We were like, what? Because we saw Moosehead in the title. We're like, what? So she, which I did not see, that's why her thing, she goes very in depth, which I love. But she had mentioned that Richard did have some form of skin condition that could cause like pieces of skin and blood to shed, and like he was known to be like, I think like he hunched over or something a lot. So in the end,
he was like a touchy dude.
And he was a touchy. So it's like those pieces of DNA that were found on Dennis's jacket potentially could have been from any of these instances of being hanging out with his dad, or even from that day where they were known that he hung out with his dad. I also feel like if you killed someone, your wife wouldn't just dry clean your jacket. Like, you'd be burning that. Do you know what I mean? So, but anyways, you know, wouldn't you kind of like, I think you take it a bit more serious than that. But
a little more.
Police analysts testified the person who created these injuries would have significant blood stain spatter on the person and on their person, and would be expected to transfer blood stains to the surfaces and other objects that person came in contact with.
Gotcha.
Forensic analysts noted the blood pooling on the floor around Richard may not have even occurred until after the attacker left the office, explaining why the scene contained few transfer stains and only one footprint, which was never connected to any suspect.
Okay. Trial time. The 65-day trial, that is so crazy, was the longest in New Brunswick history. It also drew national attention due to its brutal nature and revelations about the storied Oland family, founders of the Moosehead brewing empire. The charge revived a local obsession with the case. Moosehead had long been a major employer in the city and a source of St. John pride as the last independently owned national brewery in Canada. Interesting. That's national brewery? Oh, not anymore.
Yeah.
At the same, I think Steamless was in every province. I don't even think BAOS is in every province. At the same time, the Oland's wealth was envied and resented in a city that had lost much of its manufacturing base and was decades past its economic heyday. Both factors gave the family a celebrity aura, even in a province home to larger business dynasties like the Irvings and McCains. The family's fame and deep local roots made jury selection a challenge. Jesus. When the case was finally set for trial in 2015, 5,000 potential jurors were summoned, thought to be the largest jury pool in New Brunswick history, and a final 1,000 appeared in a St. John hockey arena for screening. Wow.
Jeez.
The length of the trial prompted Judge Jack Walsh to make the rare decision of selecting 14 jurors rather than 12, plus 2 additional alternates in case any needed to drop out.
Love to be on a jury.
I know you really want to.
I just want that mail one day.
One day.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
It's your civic duty. I actually learned that in my citizenship.
What happens if you own the business, though? Because then you don't get off and... Anyways, that's a whole other thing. Like, what would happen if I did it? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if we'd be able... I think you'd be able to say that.
Yeah.
Media coverage was intense throughout the trial, but especially for the testimony of key witnesses such as Richard Oland's mistress, Miss Sedlacek. Dennis Oland's lawyers were vivid performers. Oh, sorry, it's not a comma. It's a full stop. Dennis Oland's lawyers were vivid performers. Alan Gold, a top defense counsel from Toronto, and Gary Miller, a similarly esteemed legal mind from New Brunswick, contributed to the perception that Dennis Oland would likely be acquitted. The marathon court proceedings ended a week before Christmas in 2015. Drifts of snow on the ground, a stark contrast with the baking heat that greeted the beginning of the trial in mid-September. The jury, winnowed to 12 by random draw, deliberated for about 30 hours over the course of 4 days.
Isn't that crazy? You just take so much time
4
for something
days,
like this.
bro. Like,
you have to, because it's so intense. On December 19th, 2015, Dennis Oland was convicted of second-degree murder in the bludgeoning death of his father, Richard Oland.
Richard, in brackets.
Oh, you see how I skipped it?
Yeah.
Richard Dick Oland.
Hey, Dick. Manscaped.
Oh my
Balls.
gosh. Wow. Great tie.
20% off. BAOS. Get it.
Their guilty verdict delivered on the morning of December 19th provoked sobs and cries of protest from members of the Oland family in the courtroom. Dennis wailed uncontrollably in the accused box. Second-degree murder comes with an automatic life sentence, though the jury recommended parole after the minimum 10 years, which the court eventually heeded. The conviction shocked the people of St. John. Many in the tight-knit community felt that Dennis Oland was guilty, but also believed he should be acquitted because police incompetence and prosecutorial laxity had left gaps in the case against him. I have to remember to shout out the person who wrote this that we're taking from. We both did the same thing. That did this because these are their words. Okay.
Prosecutorial laxity.
Like that's like.
Was this from the
laziness.
Canadian?
Canadian Encyclopedia. There you go. Yeah. So shout out to Canadian Encyclopedia and Wikipedia for these facts.
Yes, we tried to get you. Well, I found those two, and then you actually cut and pasted. They're kind of mixed because we didn't want to give away too much early on.
Yeah.
And there was also development like not too long ago.
Exactly.
This includes
We'll include this for sure.
This does not fuck around.
The Oland family had professed Dennis's innocence since he was charged in 2013. Derek Oland, his uncle and executive chairman of Moosehead, had posted Dennis's first bail, as we mentioned earlier, following his initial arrest. Many family members provided character references ahead of the sentencing. So all the family, or most majority of the family, does a scene with it.
Right, and they're like standing up for Dennis.
Exactly.
So if they thought he actually killed his father, I imagine the family would not ride for him like that.
Unless they just really don't want any family stain. And you would even say it if you didn't believe it.
Good point.
But that's just more tactically speaking. Otherwise, they maybe just loved and believed that Dennis did not do this.
But they said he was a savage dude, so maybe the family's savage too. Who knows?
Who knows? And in the end, really though, all they have is like this jacket and things like that. There are all these small things, but not unequivocal evidence that this man killed his father.
I wonder what the difference would have been if the cops didn't fuck up so much.
And that's the thing that always fucks stuff, right?
Yeah.
Technicalities, like Cosby gone off again on a technicality.
It's facts.
Or, yeah. Constance Oland, Dennis's mother, and Richard's widow provided a harrowing account of their broken family in a letter to Judge Walsh after the conviction. She said that since the murder, the Olands have been stuck in a nightmare and experienced living hell. The toll had especially been great on Dennis's stepson and 3 children from an earlier marriage, she wrote. In his sentencing decision, Judge Walsh called the case a family tragedy of Shakespearean proportions.
That's pretty epic.
That's pretty factual.
Now it gets interesting. Conviction was overturned. Oland's lawyers announced their decision to appeal the guilty verdict immediately. Standard. They too focused on bungling by the police and prosecutors. The bloodstained jacket should not have been admitted as evidence, they argued, because investigators lacked a warrant for DNA testing. And they objected to a speculative argument made by lead prosecutor P.J. Venio in closing arguments that imagined a heated confrontation between father and son immediately preceding the killing. Oland also took the rare step of seeking bail while appealing a murder conviction. Twice he was rejected by the New Brunswick courts on the grounds that granting bail to a convicted murderer would undermine public faith in the justice system. That's fair. That prompted Oland to seek a review of the bail decision from the Supreme Court of Canada. In March 2017, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously that the New Brunswick courts were wrong to deny Oland release on bail while appealing his conviction, and that generally, even people convicted of murder have a right to avail themselves of bail conditions. Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Oland's appeal of his conviction was heard by the New Brunswick Court of Appeal in October 2016. Citing errors in the trial judge's instructions to the jury, the court overturned the conviction and ordered a new trial. I remember this now. Oland was freed on bail at this time, although his lawyers still proceeded with their appeal to the Supreme Court of his earlier bail denial. In July 2017, the Supreme Court dismissed requests to review the case, upholding the order for a new trial. A year later, the conviction was overturned on appeal and a new trial ordered.
So Dennis Oland's retrial began in November 2018. He was held before a judge alone rather than before a jury, which, yeah, that's fair and I think makes complete sense. Like, let's just get one person now to look over all of this.
It's probably easier.
Over the course of 44 days, the court heard testimony from 61 witnesses. More than 300 pieces of evidence were filed. On July 19th, my birthday, on July 19th, 2019, to be specific, Justice Terrence Morrison of New Brunswick's Court of Queen's Bench declared Oland not guilty of second-degree murder. In a summary of his decision, Morrison said that the Crown did not establish Oland's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. He cited doubt about Richard Oland's time of death and stated that prosecutors fell short of establishing a motive for the murder.
That's it.
Some certain things that... So that's the story of the briefer story of the murder of Richard Oland.
Yep.
What do you think about the son?
It's interesting because they didn't have any other explanation for what could have happened. So he was kind of like... But then, like I was saying before about the cops fucking up so much, you can't... It's almost sort of like if he did do it, he's on some Cosby shit. He got away with it on a technicality because the cops fucked up so much. There just wasn't enough proof to know beyond a doubt, reasonable doubt, that he did it. But they also, I feel like the weird thing about that is they didn't have an alternative. They didn't have another suspect at all. Yeah. And it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense that you wouldn't even have someone. I mean, if they cleared the financial guy, the McFadden, the son and the dad of the DNA, which, I mean, I don't know why he would have blood in the bathroom or whatever. Like, it's still kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
But then they wouldn't be the thing that's...
And so what happened with that? Like, was there not more to look into that?
I feel like it feels so unclosed. I feel like there's a huge opening there.
Oh, and also I should say that after this, they will no longer be looking into the case.
They're not allowed to.
So, no, they maintain that they believe that Dennis did it. That Dennis did it.
Who said that? Who's they?
So the police, cops. So New Brunswick, like St. John's, is not going to look into this case further and try to even establish that anyone else potentially could have done this or even look into it further.
But they're not allowed to go back.
They can, but they will not. So you get the option to. They're just like, we think Dennis did it, so just because the court doesn't believe it, doesn't mean that we don't continue to believe it, so we're not going to look further into this.
But what would they... So if they think he did it, wouldn't they go and push back again and be like, it was overturned? So
I think once something...
once it's overturned, you can't go
I don't know
again.
If after an overturn, and if Laura's listening, they can tell us, but after it's been maybe after they've already overturned it and done an appeal. I don't know if the Crown keeps forcing it. I don't know if the Crown actually gets to. I think the defense gets the opportunity to appeal. But I don't know, like, after something's been overturned and then a judge has done this and already said not guilty, if you can come back and be like, I'm appealing the appeal of the you know what I mean? Like, maybe it has to stop somewhere.
That's the ending.
And what should happen would be that they were like, okay, which should happen in every murder trial. If someone's found not guilty, you should continue looking for the person that actually should be guilty. Instead of just being like, well, you know, we're not going to...
So they're like, well, he did it, even though
we're not going to look further into this. Yeah.
I feel like that's a cop-out.
So it seems like they just hated this guy. It seemed like the police, obviously, allegedly, it seemed too tunnel vision. You know? They were just like, hey, this guy was the last guy to see him. He did it. His stuff, like, obviously, things aren't in his favor. The cell phone thing's weird. Like, why did your father's cell phone that's missing from the crime
scene? In the pod, it was saying, I think he threw it in the water or something.
That's what people
someone
said.
from a car sawing through.
During in the podcast, they mentioned that
Yes.
that someone saw him with a bag at the end of the dock, and put it in the water.
By the way, we didn't say every single element because the podcast we listened to was like 3 1-hour podcasts.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we did a very, very quick summary.
And when we have this own separate show that's
It'll be
only
about
an
an hour.
hour, that's probably when we'll dive deeper into the details. It's just to give you a taste of where this will go.
And this was still probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's still 30, but like
kinda
people
like
can
a
talk
quick
about it for
version.
an hour and a half and stuff like
Easily.
that. Too. She did it for 3. So that's something that obviously is suspect for sure. But what about the other people? If you're saying this guy is such a hard ass that there's potentially people who don't like him, could you have interviewed more people in his life? What about the fact that he's having an affair with somebody to an extent that people know of it?
Oh, and her husband was somebody. The woman that she was having an affair.
Yeah,
her
that's
husband
what
was
they were
serious.
both having affairs, but they were both having affairs, so it wasn't just him. It wasn't one-sided. So then it's like, could that husband be somebody who's mad? Could the woman be a psycho and maybe she did it? Like there was just like no other alternatives. In my mind, I'm like,
the passion.
if it's not him and the passion of it, it could be a thing where the woman's husband
They're
went
the top
and
three,
murked
I would
him.
say.
Yeah.
Because like the financial guy, like when they found the son's blood, whatever. Like there's not enough passion in that to do 47 times, whatever it was, 47.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Hit someone with a fucking house.
Yeah, you have to hate them.
Like hate.
Yeah.
So Dennis didn't bangs with him, cool, because he lent him money and he felt kind of sunned by him or whatever, and like he never lived up to the expectations. The mistress could have been crazy and could have been pissed off that he wouldn't leave his wife. I think that was actually part of it too, if I'm not mistaken, from the other thing.
He did want her to leave, and he was actually speaking to her.
Him to leave, right?
She wanted him to leave, and they were actually speaking that
About.
day as well, and about the going back and forth. That was like a conversation that kept going back and
seeing
forth.
each other,
Yeah.
or trying to end their current lives and be together.
And what is interesting, though, and we should say, and this is why I didn't think it was the mistress, is the mistress was texting him, and her last text didn't go through because the phone had died, i.e. been destroyed by that point in time.
Gotcha.
So it's likely, like, I think they were supposed to meet, or they were always having, he was supposed to always message her at 9:30 or something, and her message to him didn't go through. She thought it was because they had been fighting. So this is again why her husband kind of makes me feel like a suspect.
And that'd be the third
allegedly,
husband, yeah.
Allegedly speaking. So I think they were so narrow-minded on this case, and it shouldn't be something where you just think in one way, and then in the end there could be no alternative options. Because literally, then if Dennis did not kill his father, there's someone out there who literally just they messed it. This was intense. So it's like you did some pretty heinous psycho level murder, and you're just hanging out somewhere and haven't gone away with it because everyone focused on the son, because the son saw his dad the night. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild.
It is pretty intense, but yeah, there's not really enough of an explanation to feel like it's
I think the judge did the right thing, and
probably just to be like, look, there's not enough proof for this guy, and I don't know, to me, he's probably the most likely person to have done it.
Yeah, it's definitely likely. The money issues, whatever resentments between them, all that stuff. He could have come back out of the back alley, could have left.
He would know all the different entrances to the office.
Exactly, and if there's that whole alleyway they never paid attention to, that whole back door,
and there was no camera there or something, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yeah, even though he was in the end on camera seeing him, but if there was. Also, the secretary said there were no beef originally, so he would have had to leave, done something, come back, killed him, and then left again.
And something happened, so
it definitely wouldn't have been at that time.
Yeah. So, either way, it's very, very intense. Yeah. It's a bit of a confusing one, but I guess there's a solution, and that
would be to actually resolution.
Resolution. Well, a real solution would be to reopen it, to get who did it, because now we still don't know who did it. So this guy was murdered clearly. Mm-hmm. Somebody did it. Yeah. You're telling us it's not this dude. First you said it was him. Now you're saying it's not him. So then who the fuck was it?
Well, the police are saying it's him.
Right, but then the police are the one who investigated it. So if they refuse to investigate anything else, then the thing's they're stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
With everything.
Which is great. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
So that was the case, That's kind of what you can expect from these. Do you have any other thoughts?
No,
is that kind of how it's going to go, right?
That's it. I was exactly.
Let us know how you feel about the read. If you read it through this way, do you want us to stop more? Do you want us to read it all the way through? Give us your thoughts,
Yeah.
I liked that Matt and Mega from the show that we stole this whole entire idea from. It's the internet. You're allowed to steal and recreate.
Yeah.
So, and
they
gave props, so it doesn't count when you even get props.
We were trying to pretend.
She ate, murder she drank. You know the vibes, Because maybe, who knows how it'll expand, and maybe we drink other things on it, for sure. You never know.
Well, we got some gin recently.
People
from,
give you gin. Exactly.
Residents over there.
You've been getting some spirits lately, so that can
the other joint, the whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. So that maybe we'll do another episode in Prince Edward County one of the evenings. That could be cute.
That'll be fun.
And then maybe you should use one of someone sent you that whiskey, right? Yeah.
So I'd be down as fuck just
so
to
maybe
switch
we
it
can
up
do
for
something that could be interesting. So we'll see, because it's Murder She Drank.
So
drinking anything.
Different booze and different topic. So look, I understand if y'all had tuned out or stopped listening after the beer stuff.
We'll get the data.
Problem.
We'll get the data,
but usually the episode downloads are about the same. I hope y'all got through it because this was fun. But take a look, keep an eye out for it. I don't know our exact start date.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
But it's going to be probably this month or the very latest, the start of December.
It's to get us through the winter.
Yeah, probably Thursdays is what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Thursday 8 p.m. or some shit like that.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
To do that, A little bit of fun. This, Tiff's idea was to do that for this podcast tonight, and I thought that was really cool because we can sort of test run it, see what you guys think. Once again, we're not expecting everyone to care. I feel like there'll be a subset of the audience.
For sure, just like Keto Connect.
Yeah,
there's a massive audience who's there for the thing, and then there's some people who just have a secondary interest, and they'll be down to listen to some stories
because they already like the creators.
Yeah, well, so Mike, I was thinking, I was like, Mike, listen to this while he's jogging.
Mike, Beaver?
Yeah.
Shouts to Mike.
Shouts to Mike, because he jogs and listens to it. I'm like, maybe he's just gonna jog and listen to a murder.
Because he could be
listen to a murder as he's going.
Yeah.
So Mike, if you made all this far, then then I know we're good.
Shouts to Mike, champion of a boy. I was talking to him today.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So that's basically it. So once again, Manscaped, BAOS is the code. 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Go cop that. Perfect holiday gift. It's it's actually there's a separate deal as well. You can check out the website for Black Friday and for Cyber Monday, but use our code. Let them know what's popping. Use the code.
There you go.
And it's great. I can genuinely testify. They actually said to me, don't do the read until you get
I
the
saw
stuff.
that, which I really liked. They were like, we want your honest opinion. View on it. Do not.
They were great with the instructions. I very much
appreciate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the depth and intensity of the instructions. Normally it's not like that. So it was really cool. Genuinely enjoyed the product, honestly. I wasn't sure how it would go. It's the first time I've tried a different product for that in a long time. And all I can say is fucking A1. Go get that. Tiffany, thank you again. This was a fun episode. Always is. We're going to eat our Uber Eats and enjoy our Saturday. Where can everyone find you online?
You can find me at LiquidXHappiness on Instagram. That's generally where you can find me.
Perfect. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell.
Ding.
So you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast everywhere. Check us out, our long form audio. We go live it premieres every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and on all the podcast networks, wherever you listen to it. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, follow, whatever the instruction thing is.
Leave the review.
The review helps
the
a
review
fuck
really
ton.
helps.
It doesn't matter what platform we're on, just leave a review, man. Appreciate everyone listening. Numbers, I was always a bit worried sometimes when we've been doing interviews with breweries in Florida. I know most of our audiences up here in Canada and a bit of the States, but I didn't know how much people were interested, but they were both fantastic conversations, so I'm glad that people were enjoying those. The numbers were the same. So, we've got a bunch of content coming up. I'm kind of chilling for this, like I said. Sometimes it's going to be us, we'll have the boys, we've got a few cool breweries planned out, so we'll keep it going. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next episode.
Cheers, guys.
Get it in ya.
Get it in ya.
Yeah.